Just imagine you as a family. You've saved up for years and years and years. Your child has done well in the matric exams. And so, what do? You invest in their future, you invest in their education, you register them at a private institution. They study for years, they are focused, they are disciplined, they forego all the pleasures maybe some of their peers are pursuing, only to find at the end of that process the college or institution was bogus. It is not registered with the Department of Higher Education and Training. And that, of course, is a requirement in the Constitution. It mandates that all private education and training providers must register with the department to make sure that they are all operating within the law. What are we to do about it? Well, we're joined now by Dr. Mimmy Gondwe, who is the Deputy Minister of Higher Education and Training. As always, a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, Bongani, and good morning to your listeners on 702.
How big is the problem of bogus colleges in South Africa?
Bongani, I just want to start by saying that, as a department, we do keep a register of bogus private colleges or private institutions of higher learning. And on that list, currently we have a little over 100 institutions. But the problem is there. Despite even the department rolling out a number of campaigns. I mean, late last year we had a campaign towards the end of last year in the city of Johannesburg, we were on Jorrison Street, where we, together with, the city of Johannesburg and officials from there, we walked around the area of Braamfontein, just to check on colleges and institutions of higher learning, the private ones, of course, to determine if they're duly registered or not with the department. Because registration is our responsibility, but accreditation, would fall under our quality assurance body, which is CHE, Umalusi, and the Council on Higher Education. So the problem is prevalent despite us, running these awareness campaigns. We have campaigns coming up in the latter part of February this year, 3 campaigns, all, focused around the Pretoria and the Johannesburg area.
Yeah.
So the problem is there, Bongani, despite us, trying to encourage parents and learners to visit.
So if I may come in here, you say you've got a list of 100 institutions. You know who they are?
Yes, we have the list. You can actually access the list on our...
These are just to be clear, these are the unregistered. These are the bogus colleges.
These are the bogus colleges and private institutions of higher education. So how we, draw up that list is that typically we have a call center as a department, and I want to give the number. It's 0800 87 222, and then another 2. So it's 0800 87 2222. So you would typically call in and tell us that, you suspect that a college is bogus or a private institution of higher education as a department. And then what we'll do, then we'll ask for evidence, corroborating information, and then we'll conduct our own investigation to establish whether a college is on our register or a private institution of higher education, because we keep a register of private institutions of higher education and another register of private colleges. So then we'll cross-check to see whether the college or the private institution of higher education is on our register. If we find that it's not on our register, then we issue the college or the private institution of higher education a warning letter, and then we'll also give them an opportunity to comply. And if they continue to operate with impunity and continue to not comply, then we open a case with SAPS. And usually that works. Once we open a case with SAPS, a college immediately ceases and desists from operating. And then we will then move also to put them on our register. So we do keep a register, and we currently have a little over 100,
All right.
Colleges or private institutions of higher education.
I'm going to need your guidance here. Here because my assumption was that these are fly-by-night institutions that sort of operate under the radar and that you don't always know unless you're alerted to their existence. So the idea then that there is a list of 100 institutions, and presumably if they're still not registered, they're all acting without complying with the law and the requirements.
So some of them,
Surely,
Bongani,
surely that leaves the public open to being disabused in the way I described in my introduction.
no, certainly not. So how we came away of those institutions is because they've been reported, number one. Number two, that's why we encourage members of the public, students and parents, to visit our website to go and check. Because what happens sometimes is that once we shut it down, then it goes in another part of town and opens up again.
I mean, how long have these colleges been on this list?
The list has been there for quite a while. So
what does that mean? What are you doing about it? I don't understand.
So we've reported it to SAPS, Bongani. So ideally,
is that all you can do?
No, we can do more. We have regulations as well. We have legislation. We have regulations that come with that legislation, and coupled with the legislation, we have an administrative framework and the standing operating procedure in relation to the registration and we also registration of these colleges, and we also monitor and evaluate these colleges. So, for example, we require private institutions of higher education to submit audited financial statements and tax clearance certificates to the department in order to prove their financial viability. So we do our bit, and we run these awareness campaigns as well, Bongani. And as I said, we've got our website. On that website, we have a list of registered colleges, listed private institutions of higher education, and then we also have the list where we name and shame those that are not duly registered.
See, this continues. I want to argue with you that this continues to be a problem, despite you saying that the regulations are clear, because from my reading of what you are saying, if our accreditation systems are robust and clear enough, we surely can't blame an unsuspecting public that this kind of thing happens when you've got a list of colleges that are operating, it would seem to me, with impunity, because you're saying that despite all that you've described that you do, they continue to operate, and they've been doing so for some time. And that leaves the unsuspecting public completely vulnerable to this kind of thing.
So, Bongani, I just want to repeat this. We encourage people to please visit our website. On that website, we have a list of registered colleges and private institutions of higher education. And where we can, we name and shame those that are not registered with the department and therefore are bogus or illegal in our eyes because they are not registered. Accreditation is totally separate. So accreditation would speak to courses or programs that colleges offer. And that accreditation is the responsibility of our quality assurance body.
Sure.
So you've got the Council on Higher Education that accredits higher certificates, diplomas, and degrees. You've got Umalusi, which accredits college programs, and then you've got QCTO, which accredits skills development programs together with CETAs.
Sure.
You might find that a college is registered, Bongani, but it offers a program or a course that's not accredited with a quality assurance body.
Or on the other hand, how are colleges that are not registered giving courses that are accredited?
How are they not giving courses that are registered?
I'm saying, how are colleges that are these colleges on your list that are not registered, how are they giving courses that are in fact accredited by the various accreditation bodies?
So we require that before you can even offer any course or any program, you must be accredited. So you must be registered with the department. So registration is a prayer.
So none of these colleges' courses are accredited?
Yes, obviously if they're not registered with the department, then it's safe to say that they are not accredited.
So one of the things I'm thinking,
bodies have to work together with us. Remember,
sure,
they have to ensure that before they can accredit any course, they will check with us whether a particular college or a private institution of higher education is registered with the
department. So the question of accreditation doesn't arise then if the college is not registered?
Yes, definitely.
Right. So I'm thinking about the monies and time lost to complete a bogus qualification, and I don't get the sense that any of the penalties or any of the actions you take are severe enough.
Bongani, remember, we are not a law enforcement body, if you want to put it that way. And that's why we work with SAPS. And that's why we work with our municipalities. And that's why we work with our quality assurance bodies to make sure that all of us are doing our bit in terms of shutting down these,
Sure,
illegal
but
or
that
bogus
bit is
colleges.
not enough
Like
because
you
these
said,
guys continue to operate by your own admission.
they do continue to operate Bongani, but we have the framework that is there. And
It's
that's
not
why we
enough.
need
Surely you
But
can
that's why
concede
we
that.
need municipalities to also do their bit in helping us. When we run these awareness campaigns, we also educate them around what to look out for in terms of identifying whether a college is registered or not. So, if, for example, the red flags are, we require that the registration certificate and accreditation details are displayed on the premises. You look at the quality of teaching and learning. Does the college, for example, have computer labs, a library, a proper and conducive lecture rooms? Does the college, for example, when you conclude the agreement with them, does it, leave room for you to get a refund? And I want to touch on the refund. So when you don't get your refund from a particular college, we encourage learners and parents to go and open a case with SAPS. And then we will and then they come and notify us, and we will start our own internal processes in terms of shutting down that particular college by reporting the matter to SAPS and following up on it and ensuring that that particular college or institution is shut down. But then we also encourage learners and parents to approach the small claims court to try and claim that refund, because there's only so much we can do, Bongani, as a department.
And that's
we have
the nub.
The
That's
legislative
the
framework.
nub. Is there a way to beef up what you can do? Because it clearly seems to me that these guys take their chances. So is there a way to beef up what you can do in addition with collaborating with law enforcement?
Yes.
Is there a way to get tougher with these colleges?
There is a way. I mean, we are already, I think, Bongani, for me, I think we're already tough enough. Remember, I said that we require these institutions, even the ones that are registered, to comply with legislation and regulations. So we require them to submit audited financial statement, tax clearance certificate. So we are tough enough. But parents and learners need to play their part in terms of being more vigilant and doing their bit of due diligence and going onto our website and checking. And when they come across a college or a private institution of higher education that they suspect is not registered, they report it to us. And then we will take the necessary steps in terms of opening a case with SAPS after we've done an investigation and then ensuring that that college is shut down. And remember, Bongani, I want to also emphasize that the operations of these colleges sometimes are linked with other acts of criminality, such as money laundering and illegal immigration. So we really need to work together, as society, parents, learners, and local municipalities. And remember, these colleges like to focus on your more metropolitan areas where they know that you have your big universities there. And that's why we focused on Braamfontein, for example, because we know that this is within the vicinity. And they like to target those areas. They target those learners that come from Islaleni. They just come and they think, I'm going to take a chance and walk in, into this. And then they don't get in, and then they're around the corner, they, enticing them and saying, come. So we encourage, I even have a help desk in my private office, Bongani, where you can send an email to find out whether or not a college. So we have our call center, we have our website, and I have my help desk in my private office that you can use. And
Dr.
what
Mimmy
we've done with the
Gondwe,
department,
we've run out of time, but I appreciate you coming on and explaining this to us. I'll leave it to our listeners. We also, as the public, do have a responsibility. If you're a parent, you're going to be investing in your child's education. The Deputy Minister has a point. You've got to ensure that the institution is registered. The information is readily available. I'm not convinced that what the department is doing is tough enough, but as the public, we also have some responsibility in this.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions,
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.